Well, now it's always a pleasure chatting to this evening's guest. After a million #1 hits with Westlife, he's now busy being the man, it's got to be said, on the biggest show on TV, The Voice of Ireland. Mr. Kian Egan, how are you doing?
How you doing? How are you?
I am really, really good. It's great to be back on the show. So, Kian, The Voice of Ireland, it's a brilliant show. Are you enjoying your role as a mentor and a judge?
Yeah. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, to be honest. It's quite satisfying, I suppose. In a way, for making something out of nothing. You see your ideas come together with your artists and your acts, and song choices and stuff like that, and helping people along and seeing results. I mean, that's always a lovely thing to be a part of. Something that you're passionate about, which music is a huge passion in my life. So to be a part of any music show in general is great.
And Kian, it must be a bit stressful though at times as well.
Not really. The only stressful thing I find is trying to make people see themselves in the right light. And it's more with my contestants, like I suppose everybody that kind of enters the music industry or, is a singer or a musician has an opinion on themselves.
Yeah.
And, that opinion is generally one of what they want to be or how they want to be perceived. And trying to make people realize that the best road for them is not necessarily the road they have in their mind can get stressful sometimes because you have to obviously convince them of it. And, I have to say with my acts, they've been very, very good. But, I'm listening to me and taking my guidance and taking my judgment. But it can be stressful. There's no debate about that. And picking the songs, I have to say, is a first-class stress because you are seriously putting people's lives at risk in a way. And I always say to the other coaches, joking around, we're playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
But we actually are. And if you pick a wrong song or if they pick a wrong song, it can hurt them in the show. It can put them in the bottom two, and that's where you don't want to be.
And Kian, it's down to 4 acts, of course, for each of you this Sunday. Now, you saved Liam 2 weeks ago. Good choice, Kian, because he's the only West of Ireland representative left. So good choice saving Liam. Are you a fan of Liam?
Listen, I think Liam has probably got one of the best vocals in the show.
Yeah.
I think as a singer, you got to forget about everything else for a second. As a singer, if I was going to try and sell a singer, the biggest producer in the world that has written the biggest hit ready to happen, Liam would be someone I would be very comfortable to go, you've got to hear this guy sing, because he has a phenomenal voice. And why he was in the bottom two is beyond me. I mean, I couldn't get it into my head. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the strongest singers in the contest. And for him to be in the bottom two, I was just so confused by it. I couldn't get my head around it. I came home and I watched the show back. And, the same, Graham was in the bottom two as well. Graham's a fantastic entertainer.
Yeah.
Not as strong as a singer as Liam, but a fantastic entertainer. And, Louis Walsh texted me the first time he saw Graham on the side, he's a winner.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, he wasn't my winner because obviously he was in the bottom two. And there was no way in the world I was going to send Liam home, in that situation. I just couldn't believe that they were there, to be honest with you.
And Kian, it's getting to the real kind of business end of the show now. Are you getting competitive? Do you find yourself getting competitive now?
I backed off of the competition, shall we say, because for me, I kind of feel like everything that's going to happen is going to happen naturally. I don't believe in getting super competitive and getting on my Twitter and telling everybody to vote for my act. I want it to be a natural process. I want the winner of the show to be the winner of the show. I don't want the winner of the show to be someone who's won it because, I pushed it or Britain pushed it. You know what I mean? It needs to be quite natural. I think it's very important for Ireland that we get the winner right, because this person is going to represent us, as a nation. This person is going to have the Voice of Ireland title, and that's a huge title to have. So for me, I'm super kind of, interested to see when we get to the point of, all of the contestants from not just my team and Sharon's team, which is this Sunday, and Brian's team, Brett's team last Sunday, but when we're all together and we have our top three against each other, which is coming next weekend, not this weekend, that's where it will come to life for me again, where I'm going to go, oh, okay. Because, I think it's fair to say that there's the top pile, there's the 4 or 5 people that we rave about every week, Conor, Liam, Sharon, Gaynor, a few people like this that every time they come out, Pat comes out, every week, and it's like, bang, you nail it, you're brilliant. Vanessa from Sharon's team, them, and then there's all the others. So it'll be very interesting to see how the others are going to bring their game up now against the very, very, very strong ones.
Okay, now, Keane, we've got to ask as well, because during the blind audition stages and the battle rounds of the show, literally you became my new idol. Seriously, Keane, you would give Simon Cowell a run for his money in the honesty department. But since the live shows, you seem to have got a bit nicer, Keane. Why?
Well, I got a lot of stick for us, to be honest. And watching it back, I kind of didn't enjoy watching myself. And I have to say, the other side of it as well is that it's edited. You know,
yeah.
I mean, and you're hearing one sentence of my 5.
Yeah.
And my 5 sentences sound a lot nicer and a lot more normal than the small little bitchy one that they pull out to make good TV. I have been nicer. I think I kind of looked at myself and thought there's a better way of telling these people, you know, that it wasn't great. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we are playing with people's emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm not there to just entertain people at home with having a big mouth. I'm there to actually give my genuine opinion and my real opinion. And I just kind of thought to myself, you know what, it's easier to do it in a nice way rather than a bad way. You know, so from that perspective, I think that's probably why I have backed off the nasty tone a little bit.
Keane, well, I got to admit, I was loving the one line out of the 5 they were choosing for the early stages of the show.
But no, you know, look, I think there's an element of we've got to have fun as well, you know.
Yeah.
And sadly, you know, we are critiquing, you know, singers. So sadly, that's what we're having fun at. But, you know, I'm really trying to get the rest of the 3 of them to take the poker out of their asses and actually come up with something decent to say, because it's like, come on, guys, like, you know, I'm bored here listening to the 3 of you telling everyone they're great. Like, you know, seriously, like, you know, this is what I'm talking about when you're sat at home and you want to throw your shoe at the television.
Exactly.
Like, coaches are just saying the same bloody thing to everyone. It's like, come on, spice it up here. Give us something interesting, you know?
Keane, you need to bring back this Keane again on Sunday. Come on, Keane.
Oh,
Bring him back on Sunday.
We'll
see, definitely.
I always have a good old natter with Sharon, so because her singers are up there, I might get a little bit more involved, shall we say.
Keane, you know? Go for it, Keane. Moving on as well.
I'm trying to get the other 3 to go for it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm loving your work anyway, Keane, definitely. Moving on then, got to talk about Westlife for a second. How are you feeling now that kind of everything has had time to sink in, and has it hit you yet that the band is actually coming to an end?
Let me see, where do I start? No, it hasn't hit us that it's actually ending. You know, I think there's a huge part of us that are just kind of getting on with our everyday lives and ignoring the big elephant in the room, you know, not talking about it. But, you know, I stand by our decision. I think we've made the right decision. You know, I think as time has gone on, you know, it hasn't been the same for us the last 2 or 3 years. It's been a lot harder to get it right. And, you know, I think, you know, for us as people, we're making the right decision. You know, I think as a band, you know, obviously I'm going to miss the band massively. I'm going to miss the boys. I'm going to miss the gigs. I'm going to miss the touring. You know, I'm going to miss everything about it. But it's the only thing that we know. And I think in order for us to experience life differently, we've got to not have it in our lives, you know.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's interesting, you know. I'm looking forward to this time next year to kind of going, okay, where's my head at now? You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel real. I mean, I don't even think when we play that second night in Crow Park that it's actually going to hit us. It's odd. I don't know.
I was just going to say, though, about that as well. It's great that you are ending it in the right way, though, with a massive tour for the fans. And
Totally.
2 nights in Crow Park, that's going to be some emotional time.
That was so important to us. You know, I think when we talked about it amongst the 4 of us, about the idea of actually breaking up and actually calling it a day, you know, everybody's going, oh, why would you do it? Why would you do it? And, you know, I kind of said to everyone, look, you know, let's just do it right, lads. Let's not put a statement out and go, it's over. Let's go out on a bang. Let's put our greatest hits out and let's do the biggest show we've ever done, put on the biggest tour that we've ever done, and just go for it. And everybody got excited about that again. You know what I mean? And we had a new lease of life. It was an exciting part for us again. And and you know, the next few months is very exciting. Even though there's a big, you know, sad element at the end of it, it's really, really exciting. And I think it's exciting because everybody's talking about it again. You know, we were the old chair in the corner that nobody wanted to throw out before this, you know?
Yeah. And were you as well kind of moved by the reaction from fans? Because literally fans were devastated, Keane, when you announced the news.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, you know. Again, like we really did feel like the old chair in the corner for a very long time. I suppose we have our core fan base, you know, that the everyday kind of lunatic, and then we have the everyday person, you know, that are Westlife fans, but they're not fanatical. And I think it's feeling the love from them is really, really cool. You know, to feel that there's so many people out there that genuinely will miss Westlife and that will genuinely, you know, want to come and see us on our last show.
It was even reaching the have to set up a Westlife helpline stage at one point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of
Give out my mobile number and tell them that's the helpline.
I will indeed. Speaking of your fans as well, we're all about interactivity on the show, Keane. So I've got a couple of fan questions for you, okay?
Shoot.
These were sent in by Twitter. The first one is from Nikki. She says, Keane, how's life being a dad?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's, you know, you're just looking at this little person going, did we really create that? Is that here because of us? It's such an amazing experience. I mean, and now he's laughing and giggling, and it's like, you know, the personality is coming out. It really is such a rewarding kind of thing to have in your life, having kids. I highly recommend it to all who is ready.
Good stuff, Keane. Good stuff. Moving on then to Katie. Keane, would you ever go solo? Yeah, would you ever go solo, Keane?
Well, solo is a strong word, right? I hate the idea of being on my own on a stage. So, no, I would never go solo. Would I ever set up another band? Yeah, I probably would. Would it be Westlife music?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'd probably do a rock band. I'd love to be, you know, singer and guitar player in a rock band, you know? I really enjoy playing guitar and rocking out, you know, with some lovely heavy distortion sounds and stuff like that. That people don't know about me, you know, but I'll only ever do it for fun. I don't think I'd ever do it unless it naturally happened. You know, like Westlife happened naturally. We didn't, we chased it, but, you know, we just did our gigs and people enjoyed it and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So if I was to do that again, then yeah, but I'm not going to go out and try and, you know, actively find a record deal or actively try and find that. But I will definitely have my little rock band, my garage band, and, you know, maybe we'll do the odd gig here or there. We might come down to Galway, do a gig in the summer or something like that, you know. Just
sounds great, Keane. Sounds absolutely great. And people were really surprised as well to see you rocking out to Arcade Fire, Keane, on The Voice.
Yeah. I mean, again, you know, it's strange because when you're a member of Westlife, and that's the great thing about doing something like The Voice. Yeah. You know, when you're a member of Westlife, people just see you as the guy standing on the stage singing in Westlife.
Yeah.
You know, but when you actually do something outside of Westlife, people start to see a whole different side of you. And it's really nice because you kind of feel like for once, wow, people actually get to see me for who I am rather than, you know, even though who I am is a member of Westlife standing on the stage singing songs, but there's so much more. And that's really nice, you know. I mean, listen, I'm not like seeking it and chasing it, but it's just nice to kind of see that it's there.
Okay, moving on then, Keane. Nat has got two questions. You can pick which one you want to answer. The first is, what's the best memory Westlife has given you? The second one, Keane, is, why are you so beautiful? You choose. Go for the beautiful one, Keane. Go for the beautiful one.
Well, my mother and father are pretty beautiful. Yeah, I'm only joking. You want to see the rest of my family, you know, all the good looks came to the one. I'm only joking. No, what was the first question?
What was the best memory? What was the best memory Westlife has given you?
Look, I think the first Crow Park has definitely got to be the first memory. And I remember, rest my dad's soul, it was his birthday, the first time he played Crow Park, and I had the whole audience, you know, 85,000 people singing happy birthday, and that was pretty special. You know, it's a pretty special memory for me because he's passed since, you know, and you know, things like that are just, you know, it's emotional. Emotional moments is what's special in my life. You know, when you stand on a stage and, you know, you see 85,000 people, it's pretty an emotional experience. So I think they're the ones that you'll always hold closest to your heart, you know.
Sounds great, Keane. Okay, last fan question then from Karen. After 14 years of Westlife, is there something you can tell me about Westlife that we don't all already know? Get juicy, Keane. Come on.
Ooh.
Something that hasn't even made the books, Keane. Come on.
Ooh. Okay. Wow.
There must be so many things.
There is a lot. It's kind of like what will I get away with saying?
Yeah.
I don't get a phone call from Nicky Shane or Mark going, what did you say about me on the radio? And then it's in all the papers tomorrow or something like that.
That's exactly what we want, Keane. Come on.
I know that's exactly what you want. But, you know, and sometimes I'll give it to you and sometimes I won't. It depends on my mood.
You're not going to give it to us today, are you?
Let me think. Something that you don't know.
Yeah.
Mark probably has the biggest willy in the band.
Well, okay, that will probably definitely make all the papers tomorrow. We definitely didn't know. Cheers to that, Keane. Okay, my final question then is, because we're going to play it, whatever you answer, what is your favourite Westlife song of all time? Favourite Westlife song?
Oh, I don't have one.
You have to pick one, Keane. You've no choice. You're playing one right after this. What is it? I think mine is Unbreakable.
What about now? What about now?
What about now? Really? Why that song?
Well, I just love performing it. You know, it's a song that I really kind of enjoy performing, and I think the lyrics are quite inspiring. You know, in a way, it's like, you know, the lyric of "What about now?" You know, I have this whole thing in my mind about living in the moment and living in the day rather than thinking about tomorrow or thinking about yesterday or thinking about next week.
Yeah.
You know, living today. I think that song is a pretty good message in it to say, you know, what about now? What are you doing right now? That's what you should be worried about, not the next day, you know?
Well, that's what we're going to play for you, so Keane, on the show. Keane, thank you so much for joining us. You're an absolute star. And Keane, get me in this Sunday on The Voice of Ireland, okay? Okay. I'll think about it. I could, you know, turn around and just go, listen, you were absolute first class rubbish. The rats in the sewage system ran away when they heard you singing that one. I love it. I do a pause after first class before you say rubbish, just so they think you might be saying they're first class.
That's very true.
Then it will work.
You were first class rubbish.
Keane, you're a total star. Thanks a million for joining us. Best of luck as well this Sunday with the rest of the show. We'll talk to you soon.